All right, guys, welcome to the YJ project. This is a 1995 YJ stock axles, 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. It has gotten new motor mounts, new fuel pump, new fuel filter, blew the lines out. This has been sitting for 4 years now. I put new motor mounts on it because they were shot, new distributor caps, spark plugs, wires. Battery's been maintenance and charged up, and it's actually holding a charge. New fuel filter, oil is super clean and full, so we just left that alone. So what we have going on right now is it has a stock axles with 33s on the front and rear. This is eventually going to get a diesel, is what the client wants. This is for a friend of mine. It's going to eventually get a diesel and 1-tons. I'm also going to put a metal cloak long arm suspension on here with coilovers eventually, and we're going to probably end up stretching the back. So I think I'm going to actually take an LJ long arm suspension kit and put it on there. Whenever we do 1-tons, I'm going to do the arc truss 1-ton conversion from 1-ton to TJ mounting system, and then the TJ mounting brackets will mount up to the long arm kit. I'll then modify the belly bracket to bolt up to it, which a guy told me it should bolt up to the actual frame of the YJ, but I still have yet to see that. So what I had to do, because of what I've done to this Jeep so far, the AX5 transmission was completely blown out, and so we put a new transmission in it. I got 1330 joints for the front of the drive, or for the transfer case, and then I have 1310 joint for the front axle on the front drive shaft. Let me take you over to the rear drive shaft and show you what I had made. I have the flange for a Rubicon transfer case on the front side, and then I have again a 1310 joint for the rear axle. Let me show you what I have going on underneath here. And the reason why, I have those special yokes. So this right here is a MVG 241 OR transfer case out of a 2004 TJ Rubicon. This right here is an AX15 transmission with an advanced adapter plate to be able to bolt up to the actual 4-cylinder for right now. I then had to get, because if you guys don't know this right here is 2-wheel drive for the MVG 241. However, for the MP 231 that came stock on the YJ, this would actually be 4-low. So I had to get a TJ mounting bracket in order to do a rocker system, in order to get this YJ mounting bracket to actually articulate the transfer case correctly. So this is the stock YJ lever. However, it is hooked onto an adapter bracket that came from Advanced Adapters. However, that bracket mounts to the same place that this rocker assembly amounts to. So what I had to do is I had to take the bracket, cut the mounting bracket pieces off of it, raise it up to where I liked in alignment with the body and up into the board, and then up into the floorboard of the body. And so then I also had to figure out the placement between this bolt and this bolt to be able to get this rocker system mounted and articulate correctly. So once I got all of the measurements and everything figured out on this, the bracket needed some gussets to make it sturdy, and I also added another support up there because that's a pretty long distance between the top of this bracket and then all the way up into the floorboard with all that metal and the leverage that you're putting on it. And so I added another bracket up there along with some gussets. On this, the original rocker that came with this mounting bracket went kind of like that, and you can see that bolt hole. Let me see if I can get it up on the face. That bolt hole was about like this, and no matter how I adjusted this, I could not get it from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, because by the time that this rocked forward, this had no more pushing power on this downhill side that went to the actual transfer case. So what I did is I trashed this bracket. I made my own bracket with a 50-50 ratio from this bolt to this bolt, and then from the center bolt to this bolt. In order to do that, I also offset it. And so now what I have is an actual ratio where the selector handle will pivot from 2-wheel drive all the way to 4-low correctly off of this. When doing this, the mounting bracket hole was originally up here. I cut the flange off in this whole housing. I had to add a 3/8 spacer in order for all of this stuff to line up a lot better. And then, so I welded all that together, and I have a pass-through bolt with a nut on the back side of this. Now everything functions, it's all tight. Let me take you up to the top and show you what I have up there. This bracket right here originally came on the factory bracket for the YJ on the AX5 transmission. So I took it, ground the welds down, inverted it, drilled out these holes because these are slightly bigger than the actual AX5 on the new AX15 transmission. Drilled the hole through the bracket that came from Advanced Adapters and secured it. However, this bracket right up here, which is the notched bracket in order to actually align you from 2-wheel drive to 4 high over into neutral and then 4 low. This right here, whenever I went from 2-wheel drive to 4 high, would actually come all the way back into the neutral position. And so I didn't like that. So I added weld up to here and then ground the offset down on this side. So now I can go from 2-wheel drive to 4 high, over to neutral, and then into 4 low. So this is a Advanced Adapter AX15 transmission hooked up to an NVG 241 OR Rubicon transfer case. The Advanced Adapters came with the plate to go up to the bell housing for the 2.5 cylinder or 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. This bracket came with the Advanced Adapters. I moved this plate over from the factory mount. I moved that plate, which I had to grind the welds down, over from the factory mount. I had to modify this bracket to mount up to an upgraded TJ rocker housing. I had to cut the actual rocker assembly off, move it down to proportion correctly for the pivots, make my own rocker in order for all of this to work, along with modifying this top bracket so the notches work correctly. So this is a 1995 YJ project we have going on, and eventually it's going to be all gutted, completely restored once everything 1 tons and diesel gets put in place and mechanically everything works. We're stripping it all down and going to redo it.